Wogan's logs, stardate, Friday, 8th of April, 1988. These are the voyages of the starship Wogan. His thrice-weekly mission to boldly go where no chat show has gone before, to seek out strange new life forces and interview them. Shepherd's Bush, the final frontier. Beam me down, Scotty.
I found these in the teleporter. Can't imagine who left them there. And as you can see, we've got a touch of the Star Treks tonight. They do say, whoever they are, that an episode of Star Trek is on television somewhere in the world every day of the year. Is there anyone out there, or even in here, who doesn't know Captain Kirk?
Jim to his friends, the one who had a girl in every planet. Mr. Spock, live long and prosper.
The Vulcan with the hearing problem. Bones, who could cure any known disease and a few unknown ones as well by squirting his fountain pen at your forehead. And of course, Scotty, forever complaining, the lithium crystals will collapse at warp factor 7, son. And whose wouldn't? After hundreds of TV shows and 4 feature films, they've all now gone to that great starship in the sky to be followed by son of Star Trek, Star Trek: The New Generation. Please welcome the new captain of the Enterprise. Let's hope he's not leaking. Jean-Luc Picard, played by Patrick Stewart. Well, obviously, it's a great surprise to see an Englishman at the helm of the new Enterprise. How did you get the part?
It's already become part of the Star Trek legend, how Patrick got the part. It's, in fact, a classic example of that old actor's adage, you never know who's out there. It may be a wet Wednesday afternoon in Middlesbrough, but someone may be out there. I was helping out a friend, a professor at UCLA, by reading some extracts from Shakespeare and Congreve and Noel Coward one evening, and one of the people signed up for this course of lectures was Robert Justman, one of the producers of Star Trek.
Amazing. And he saw you as the man to take over from William Shatner.
He says, this is his story, that halfway through this reading, he turned to his wife and said, "We have found our new captain."
Does everybody involved in Star Trek tend to talk in kind of epithets like that, or short, resounding sentences?
Yes, it is part of the style, principally because the original conceiver of Star Trek, Gene Roddenberry, is still the powerhouse and the guru behind the show. And there's a good deal more relaxation, perhaps, than there was, I think, in that sense. Certainly, as our series has progressed, we've done 26 episodes now.
And we haven't seen nary one of them yet.
The pilot is now available on video.
It won't be on television, though, as such, for severely of years.
Another 2 years, sadly. But it is going to be released every 6 to 8 weeks. They'll be releasing a video, a 2-hour video, which will have 2 episodes.
How, I mean, you boldly go to a new challenge somewhere in the universe or galaxy every 8 days? How often does it take 8 days to do a thing?
It's 7 and 8 days. We alternate. 7 and 8 working days, that is. The only problem with going to a new galaxy or a new planet, as far as I am concerned, is remembering where we are. I have problems with the names of the planets. Okay. I have problems with the names of the planets. I have problems with the star date, too. You remember yours very well. And incidentally, that beaming in and beaming out, it takes a brave man to do that.
Oh, yes.
Well, the problem is that if you're beaming in or beaming out, while another creature is beaming in or beaming out, because you beam out as energy particles, it's quite possible some of them may get mixed up, so that when you beam back, you may beam back with bits of you didn't have when you beamed out.
Quite.
I mean, someone else's bits.
I could do with missing a few bits myself. But I mean, yes, The Fly. I remember that movie.
Indeed, there you are, you see.
The reassembling of molecules.
So you must be cautious.
How did the Trekkies, you know these people who follow Star Trek in their thousands and really create terrific fuss when it was taken off and still go round in the outfits? I mean, how did they take to you taking over from, I think somebody called it an American icon?
That's right, yes. That was the first thing that made me uneasy about being in the series. I had no sense of the extent to which this show has threaded itself through American culture. If I had, I would probably have been far more nervous about the whole Enterprise. No pun intended. Yes, until one day somebody said to me, Patrick, how does it feel to be playing an American icon? I think there was a real concern. I think there was, in fact, hostility initially from, and I think they prefer to be called trekkers rather than trekkiers. I've been corrected about this several times. Trekkers, they felt that we were a replacement for the original ship. In fact, what's happened with this show is that it's quite obviously a development, a growth from the original. And the original is still there. In many of the stations, because we're a syndicated show, in many of the stations, they run the shows back to back. The old one and ours right after it.
Yeah. So they accepted you. I mean, what's your fan mail now? Is it one of acceptance, being honest about it?
I would say that from the enthusiasts, the old-time enthusiasts, 90% of the mail will begin by saying, when I first heard there was going to be a Star Trek The Next Generation, I couldn't believe my ears. They all claim that they were uneasy about this new development. Without exception, they go on to say, however, having seen a few episodes, we think it's terrific.
You're happy with it, are you? You're happy you took the job?
Oh, I'm delighted with the job. It's a curiosity because it's so unlike anything that
But how about your fellow actors and thespians here?
Over there?
Here, you see, I mean, you were known as a Shakespearean actor, the Royal Shakespeare Company, and
right.
very, very, very well regarded as a serious actor, and you won many awards for it. I mean, have you had any kind of backlash from here?
Not yet, no, except I think real pleasure from close friends. The whole project was opposed by one friend and very distinguished Shakespearean here who strongly advised me not to do it a year ago. I think he was wrong. I think now that he sees the way things developed, he will probably admit that he was wrong. It's been a thrilling and at times overwhelming year. 2 weeks ago, I attended my first convention. You know that the enthusiasts have convention. This was, in fact, a science fiction convention. And I was exposed to somewhere in excess of 3,000 people live in a ballroom of a hotel in Denver. And it gave me just one little sense of what it might be like to be Sting or, you know, some rock star.
Did you carry yourself as Patrick Stewart or as Jean-Luc Picard?
From the very beginning, it's been important for me to keep those two things separated.
Yes, of course.
Because otherwise there is a danger of being swamped by the role and swamped by the series. Yeah. We're now having audiences in excess of 30 million for each episode each week.
Can you walk down the street in America with safety now?
I think with probably more safety than I could before, in that if anything were to happen to me, I would be surrounded by protectors. But it's true, I do attract attention, polite, courteous, and complimentary attention, and that's very nice.
Well, they're probably afraid you'll take your phaser out and zap them. Has it changed from the old one? You know, Scotty's gone, Dr. Bones McCoy is gone,
well,
Spock's gone, the years have gone.
Yes, it's an entirely new cast of characters. We're 83 years in the future.
This is them here. We've got a picture of them.
Ah, yes. There's the good captain in the center, the remote but strangely attractive captain of the Enterprise.
Yes, who could he be? Are you not wearing a miniskirt?
No, not in that one. You will see, if you watch closely later on, you will see a miniskirt. To my right is Commander William Riker, played by Jonathan Frakes, who is my number one. To his right is LeVar Burton, who is our blind navigator. Think about it. And, then we have Denise Crosby, who plays Chief of Security. We have a female Chief of Security. We have a woman doctor. Yeah. And we also, of course, have a Klingon on the ship, too.
The Klingons have changed, then?
Well, the Klingons have now become part of the Alliance. Over the years, the 83 years, they have been brought into the Federation, and we have a Klingon lieutenant on board the ship.
Who are the villains now? I mean, the Klingons used to be the baddies.
Yeah, they were, and I think there's some regret that that they are now on our side. We have a new set of wonderful villains called Ferengi, but we came face to face just 3 weeks ago. I was as close as this to a Romulan.
Never.
You remember the Romulans? Well, they're back. Indeed, that's exactly what they said. We are back.
What do they look like, the Romulans?
It was an actor that I was looking at. I do a lot of time acting, not with the thing I'm going to be finally working with, because it's done on blue screen and it's added at a later date as a special effect. So most of the aliens that I confront, I only see as actors reading from a page, and they are added as an effect later.
What about other little creatures? Don't you have to act with...
I acted with a slime creature a few weeks ago. Oh, yes, I also acted with a grain of rice as well a few weeks ago.
This must tax your abilities to the limit. Tax the imagination apart from anything else.
It's certainly true that in the Royal Shakespeare Company you don't get to act with many grains of rice. I'm not so sure.
Do you get anybody here saying that, you'll be lost? Once you've done that part, we'll never see you again?
Yes, it has been said. I'm determined to try not to let that happen. My children I think, will not let that happen. They perpetually remind me of what I've done before. This job, in fact, provided my daughter, my witty daughter, with one of her best lines of the year when she said that the famous phrase should now read, to boldly go where no man has gone before.
Patrick, we wish you success. It's
Thank
obviously
you.
success already. Continued success at the bridge or helm of the USS Enterprise. Thank you. Patrick Stewart, the news.
Jean-Luc Picard.